Mayor Michael Kerr, an interesting morning. On the surface, you'd think, well, not very exciting, but if you look a little bit deeper, there's some very, very good stories that came out of today. But let's tackle the financial report, July. How are we travelling?
Well, for the start of the year, of course, it's very hard to tell, but we're certainly, I think it's over $12 million surplus it's sitting on at the moment. I wish it could stay that way the whole year. Of course, it won't, because expenses do come out throughout the year, and that will reduce down to what we've budgeted to, hopefully less than that. That's the whole idea, is to come in less than what we budgeted for, and have a least amount of surplus deficit as possible.
QAO interim audit management letter, what's that about?
So council gets audited by various different departments, and the QAO is one of them that does auditing on us. They go through different areas to ensure the council's following correct state procedures and the laws as such, as far as accounting goes, and all those sorts of things. And the report that they send back to me shows any issues that they may have found when they were going through their process. And of course the report came back quite happy that everything is ticking along nicely, which is fantastic to see.
Application for permanent road closure on unnamed road reserve. This is Tollgate Road. Now, this has been deferred, but hasn't it been deferred before?
It has. It came onto the agenda. That some more information has been received. Of course, all our agendas, the work gets printed on the Thursday before the meeting. Some other stuff's come through since then, and the staff want to make sure council have all the details before making a decision.
Can you just tell people where exactly that is, Tollgate Road?
So Tollgate Road's down near Oak Beach, along Pebbly Beach there. There's an area there of land that one of the residents wishes to look at doing some stuff with, and he's got an application into the state, and of course council has to give their approval as well before the state gives theirs. So it's a recommendation by council.
He wants to use it, the road or the track, but staff want to turn it into, or the state government want to turn it into a reserve?
It's already conservation land, and that's
right.
The thing. He wants to change it into residential area.
Okay.
So there's a process that has to be followed. And of course the state come to council and ask council what their position is on it, and that's what we're doing at the moment. Okay,
Delegations Register to CEO, 700 pages long. What's that about?
It's massive, but it saves a lot of time. It's for all those little things about, without a Delegations Register, absolutely anything and everything that council did would have to come to a council meeting for councillors to approve.
We need new pens, so...
We do. So what we do is we have a Delegations Register, which therefore we pass that on to the CEO, and then the CEO has got a Delegations Register that they pass on to senior management. The senior management have got a Delegations Register that passes on to the lower levels of staff, so that everyone knows what they're allowed to do, and it's in writing and it's formal about the processes. So when it comes to buying a new pen, there's actually a process that has to happen, and that staff member who has that authority to do so can do it without it coming to council.
Material change of premises, Wharf Street, 9 to 13 Wharf Street. Everybody's kind of excited about this one.
It is absolutely fantastic. There's a small backpacker there. Many people may remember it from Portical Lodge, which it was many years ago. It has changed hands since then, and these people are going to turn it into an absolutely fantastic facility. It's going to have more than 50 rooms there for backpackers, and it's something we really need at the moment. It's accommodation for staff, and so they're going to get this work done as quickly as they can, and that'll allow us, of course, to get more staff into the region. So very excited about this one. The staff have worked very hard with the developer to ensure they could get it to fit in within the planning scheme and in the right area, and it'll be an absolute asset for Port Douglas.
Yeah, we need this sort of stuff now. How long till this is built? I mean, when will it go up?
They've got their approvals now from council, so now it's up to the developer to do what they need to do.
Okay, now we get to the big one. This was so controversial, 69 to 72 Murphy Street. Originally the developer, people were complaining it was going too high up to Murphy Street. It's in that parkland area down near the Esplanade there. But suddenly this morning, unanimous, it goes through. So what happened?
Well, the developer's come back with a new design, and he's worked very heavily with our staff in the planning department to ensure that it encompasses what the planning scheme's all about, and it makes sure it fits into what the essence of Port Douglas is. So the design has been changed so that it is more open, there's a lot more airspaces, a lot more light goes through, it's nowhere near the height that it was, it's not the solid build that it was before, so it does fit more into what we want with our planning scheme. And so the planners have put a recommendation through for it to approve. The councillors have looked at the recommendation and agreed with them, and so it was passed, and the developer will now get the opportunity to build another great asset for Douglas and being in Port Douglas.
I mean, originally this was a very controversial development. It really was. I was people saying to you, you weren't consulting and all of that, which I know upset you because you actually, in fact, did consult on it.
Absolutely. And my comments at the time, and I still stand by them, is that there's a process. There is a due process that every developer needs to go through. And that process was occurring. It was going through the planning system. And it's up to the planners to look at the legal side of it to ensure the council gives the right recommendation for the councillors to either approve or to knock back. We can't just go on a whim and say because we emotionally feel like this. Unfortunately, that will end up in court because people have rights to appeal and all those sorts of things. So we have to know that we're doing things legally and correctly. There is a proper process for a developer to go through. The developer went through that process, council did their side of it, and now we've moved through, and it shows the process does work. We've now got a building being built there that the developer's happy with, council's happy with, and it will be an asset for the Shire.
Yeah, because look, there has been, council has been accused of not working with developers in the past. Nobody can get anything done here, but here's a case where the developer and the council have worked together on this, and a unanimous decision this morning. It was pretty good.
And Councillor Nolly did mention that as well today. In the time that we have been since de-amalgamation, in council meetings, there hasn't been that many applications knocked back. You know, if we do...
But it appears that there are. Developers don't seem to be able to get a go here.
Yeah, we have to be very, very careful of the region we're in. It has to be protected. You know, we are in such a special area. We need development. There's no argument there, and this council's very productive in that area, that we want to ensure that we have the right development that comes in that's appropriate for this region. And, you know, for a developer that's in Sydney, they may not understand that. They're used to developing in Sydney with Sydney rules. We are in one of the most prestigious environmental areas of the world. We've got the Daintree rainforest, we've got the Great Barrier Reef. We need to ensure that our planning scheme protects those things for the future of this area. And so, yes, we may be strict, but our staff are always willing to work with the developer to ensure that we can come to an agreement and balance it out so that we are doing what we need to do as far as the planning scheme is concerned, and you're able to make that building that you wish to build.
Looks a pretty darn nice building.
Well, I appreciate the gentleman as well, because, you know, he's gone through a lot of work and a lot of money to get this process happening. You know, he could have walked away last time and said too hard basket, but he didn't. He wanted to build in Douglas. He's, you know, he loves Port Douglas himself, so, you know, I'm sure he's going to build something that's going to be an absolute asset for us. And, you know, I'm glad he persisted, and the staff, I give them full credit for persisting with this as well and getting to a place that we're all happy with.
And Newsport viewers, tell us who that developer is.
Well, Tim Gurner, people would, you know, it is open, it's on the report itself, but Mr. Gurner, you know, got quite a name last time for the building that he was trying to put there, and, you know, there was a lot of opposition by the community, and, you know, they had their own website and all that other stuff that they did, but, you know, at the end of the day, it comes down to what is legal and what's not legal and what sits within our planning scheme, and that's what we've done.
Okay, close by 12 Murphy Street, material change of use for a dwelling there. Is that a house? What's going on there?
It's a house there, and, you know, a gentleman purchased the block of land and wishes to develop a house on it, and because of the size in the area, that it has to come to council, and you know, it's a great design that he's done. It sits and fits in within the area, and, you know, so the staff gave a recommendation to approve it, and that's what we did.
Biosolids. That's a great name, isn't it? What it means actually is our waste being turned into something that can go onto farms to fertilise and all of that. So what's going on this morning with that?
It's a procurement process again. Anything that's of a contract over a certain figure has to come to councillors, and so it has. And so we've agreed with the staff on their recommendation that's gone through that procurement process that this is the company to use to take away our waste products and utilise it in other means. It's an expensive process for them to do it, and
it ends up doing something worthwhile.
Well, it's that use recycle process. If it can be reused and recycled to make something else, it's better for the planet than just dumping it somewhere. So we're happy for it to be taken away and reused.
I'm happy to help.
Absolutely. Well, all our ratepayers are contributing to that one.
Exactly, but I'm in amongst it. Now, the Killaloe landfill capping stage 2, what's happening there?
Well, of course, as we've said before, the landfill is full. and because there are requirements that we have to put those layers of ground over the top of it and cover them up to seal it, and that's the next process of this one. Because the landfill is full, they're putting those layers of covering across it to lock it all in and let it do its thing, and in years to come, we can possibly revegetate that land as well. But at the moment, it just needs to be capped, let all the gases and all the rest of it come out of it for that process, and then we can move on from there. But that's what that last one was.
Well, there you go. Anything else to add?
It's been a good meeting. It was a quick meeting, of course, with some really great things coming out of it. So I'm really looking forward, as I said, that backpackers is going to be fantastic.
It's the friendliest meeting I've ever attended.
Hey, we all do get along in the background.